Sensitive content disclaimer. This episode discusses sensitive topics, including mental health challenges and suicide. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know is struggling, please seek help from a trusted mental health professional or contact your local support services. Welcome to the Selling Dreams podcast.
Good night, dreamers. Welcome back to Selling Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Freddie. Dressed a little serious tonight because we're dealing with a serious topic. Tonight, we are dealing with the prevalence of suicides in persons with ADHD. Let's look at the prevalence of ADHD in the regular population worldwide. Now, according to the CDC, in the US of ADHD affects 4.4% of adults. When we're counting adults, I want to look at persons between the ages of 18 to 65. In Germany, adult ADHD prevalence is 3 to 5%. In the UK, they're saying that their prevalence amongst adults ADHD is 2.8%, and that is according to 2023. Trinidad and Tobago, we still have limited data, but estimates align with global trends. So we're looking at between 3 to 5% of our adult population being either diagnosed or undiagnosed with ADHD. We're not counting the younger ones yet. So let's look at this. Let's ask the question, why mental health stressors in ADHD deserve focused discussion? Trinidad and Tobago recently has seen a rise in teenage suicides. We're not seeing a lot of data coming out on cause. As a person who lives with ADHD, I can tell you that myself has had dark thoughts to the point where I might have harmed myself. And it's through faith, a good family structure, the support of my mother, especially my mother and my brother, that those dark thoughts never took me totally down that road. I'm not saying that I'm not susceptible to it, but I've been under mental health guidance since I was 10. So from an early age, I was taught how to cope with certain mental stresses. Now, not everybody has that opportunity at a young age. There are a lot of people out here suffering in silence, who are undiagnosed, who don't understand why is it that they are different to the people in their family, why they are different to their friends or their classmates. In episode 7, I'm going to talk about rejection sensitivity dysphoria, which was one of the hard parts of life that I had no control over. How I perceived how people looked at me. I'm not saying it could be a cause. I'm not saying it cannot be a cause. All I'm saying, learn to support those around you. Learn to tell when things are not right with your loved ones. Not every smile means happiness. In my darkest time, my friends will tell you, I smiled, I laughed, I partied hard with him. But I remember feeling lonely in a crowd of people. It's something you don't ever, it's not easy to get out of that. So let's unpack some of the data. Let's look at the rate amongst adults. Now, I know I'm using the word suicide and I'm going to get a lot of flack because a lot of people don't like talking about this, because in our Western culture, it's taboo to talk about suicide. We are not encouraging it. What we want is to decrease the chances of persons with ADHD from ending up in this position. Adults with ADHD are 3 to 4 times more likely to attempt suicide. This is out of the CDC 2022 study. UK, in their 2023 study by the Royal College of Psychiatrists, they said that ADHD is linked to higher rates of suicidal ideation, particularly in their untreated cases. Trinidad and Tobago Ministry of Health has not published any ADHD specific data, but has noted a rising suicide rate between 18 to 40 demographic within the last couple of years. So, this is also the CDC and the American Psychological Association, ASA. Yes. No, APA. Possible causes of suicide in persons with ADHD. Emotional dysregulation, meaning difficulty managing emotions, lead to higher impulsivity. Yes, this happens. And as much as we would like to say we are very much in control of our emotions, no, we're not. We have a lot of balancing of acts we have to do. Emotional dysregulation, we have difficulty managing our emotions. This is something that you have to get treatment for. Shouldn't use the word treatment. Counseling for. You need good habits in dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, because you don't want to be oversensitive to everything negatively that happens in your life, and you don't want to go cold about everything negatively happens in your life. Also, co-occurring conditions. APA says high prevalence of anxiety and depression. This one for sure, I can tell you about. The anxiety is paralyzing. The depression is strong, but can't say that I know when I'm depressed. I know of the effects of my depression, so I look for the effects in my loved ones. I look for how do I respond to my day to know if I'm depressed. 50% of adults with ADHD also have a mood disorder. APA 2022. Yes, this one is actually, yes, we do. We do have a mood disorder, or one or the other. Social and occupational struggles, feelings of rejection and underachievement. Yep. Was there, been there, done that. You can also deal with it by accessing support. In the US, Canada, most modern countries, you can get mental health assistance. I believe the CDC and the NHS have outreach programs for persons who have mental health crisis that they could reach out on their own and not wait till you are in full-blown crisis to get assistance. Access to support in the Caribbean, I know is still, we deal with stigmatism of mental health. We usually believe mental health means guys who are on the side of the road, naked, on vagrancy. But it's not so much that something's wrong with you, it's just that you think and feel differently to other people. But you also need those coping mechanisms for you to fit into society. Your ultimate goal is to be a productive member of society. Caribbean, we need more resources. We need greater access to resources, and resources that are catered towards how culturally we are different. So let's go back over the 3 possible causes: emotional dysregulation, co-occurring conditions, and social and occupational struggles. So let's look at some of the coping mechanisms for dealing with mental stress. Healthy coping strategies: mindfulness and meditation. This I will endorse. My brother is the reason why I have to endorse this, because when he couldn't help me, he couldn't open a book and just find something to help me, he demonstrated to me that in his own personal life, with his struggles and what he was going, that he took time from his day to be that person, to be that calming person, not just for his family, but for himself. There is evidence of this working. According to the Australian Psychological Society in their 2023 paper, regular mindfulness improves emotional regulation in ADHD patients. That's good. Another healthy coping strategy: structured routines. In Canada, exercise has been linked to reducing ADHD symptoms and has improved moods. Canadian Mental Health Association 2023. Get out there, exercise, structured exercise on a routine. ADHD, we hate routines. Routines are good for us. Let's go outside our comfort zone and get those routines done. Exercise regularly. I myself try to employ this ever so often. Walking is my thing, and I incorporate it into my regular commute. Professional help. Let's look at cognitive behavior therapy. It is recognized as effective across all the regions where ADHD is prevalent, and where they are tracking how best to not use medications to reduce the symptoms, or it's basically the disruptions to your regular life. It doesn't affect you, it also affects the persons around you and your ability to be functional. So cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the good things. I believe Jordan Peterson, is one of the guys out there who at least was in Canada doing cognitive behavioral therapy, not just for ADHD, for a lot of other persons. In Trinidad and Tobago, we can access this through private clinics or emerging teletherapy options. That cognitive behavioral therapy. If you want, you can also inquire at your regular health center if there is access to a mental health professional who may be familiar or certified in cognitive behavioral therapy. Practical tips for us, local resources. We have helplines.
Hi, dreamers. Here are the phone numbers for the hotlines in Trinidad and Tobago, where you can get assistance when you or one you know are having a mental health crisis.
What can you do to support someone with ADHD and roles of the family and friends? If you're family or friends with a person who's going through mental stress, especially ADHD mental stress, try active listening. Being present without judgment. That means just listening. I hear you. Don't give any judgment. Sometimes they just want someone to be there in the moment. Encourage them to seek professional help. Partner with them to locate resources. Also, you could contact the Ministry of Health. There's a lot of extended mental health initiatives found now. You can check online, or you can contact the ministry directly. Make sure your workplace is inclusive. Your boss doesn't have to do it, you could do it for yourself. Make the place inclusive. Make people feel open to share their experiences and not be judged. Encourage your friends, persons you know, everyone around you. Always encourage them to be a listener for their fellow man. You want to be vigilant. You want to be supportive of mental health needs, not only for ADHD persons, not only for autistic persons, but for everyone in your little space. 3 minutes. Life is busy. Life is hustling. But be there for somebody. Be that listener, that ear that somebody needed. Because everybody has issues. Everybody have something or someone that they miss in their life. And be compassionate. You can't support someone without being compassionate. One with ADHD needs to face the challenges of not only ADHD, but the mental health struggles that come along with it. You may be telling yourself, hey, I got this in the bag. I am good. Everything is going fine. Still talk to somebody. If you are a rock, be that rock for somebody else who's maybe struggling. Find allies. Find other people out there who are like-minded, who can help spread the shoulders for other people to lean on. Become part of support systems. Share your therapies, your own personal things. I love fishing. Fishing resets me a lot. Look at the different self-help tools. Also, you can have a rewarding life as a person with ADHD. Learn how you are different within our space. ADHD should be considered something like a pool, and you're just a member of this pool, but In your little corner, you're different to the rest of the pool. Your depth is different. Your intensity is different. There's a lot about it that you have in common with other people, but yet you don't. Try your best to live that fulfilling life that was promised to you. But thank you for being part of this episode. This was a hard episode for me to film. I got fed up of trying to bend over backward and not violate a lot of community guidelines for social media and other groups, but the message needed to go out. And as much as I could dance wrong and dance wrong, ADHD is very close to negative thoughts, and those negative thoughts can push you towards suicide, and we don't want that. Seek help. If those dark times come, reach out to somebody, pastor, teacher, close personal friend, and also be that for somebody else. Be that person that someone could say, bro, sis, I don't know how I got up this morning. Be that person. Be there when they reach out. I've lost too many good friends who could have picked up that phone at any time, and I would have been there. I'm not angry at them for what they did. I know what that darkness feels like. That darkness ain't no joke. But I thank God that I walked away from that darkness. My mom and my brother were there for me, especially praying hands, no matter what. No matter what your belief is, spirituality will save you every time. This episode is dedicated to a very good friend of mine. I wish I had done this years earlier. Until next time, this has been Selling Dreams Podcast. You can check our social medias to see when our next episode is coming out. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.
In memory of Adrian Saki. Thank you for joining us in this important conversation about the prevalence of suicide in individuals with ADHD. We know that ADHD can bring unique challenges, and for some, these can feel overwhelming. But please remember, you're not alone. There is strength in seeking help, in reaching out, and in letting others stand beside you during your darkest moments. If you're struggling, or if someone you love is, I encourage you to contact organizations in your community that provide mental health support. Whether it's a local hotline, a support group, or a trusted professional, help is out there. Stay strong, stay kind, and stay connected. And as always, I'm here cheering you on every step of the way. Take care, and see you in the next episode.